From the car radio to elevators, to your iPod, to your phone. Your world is filled with music. Its presence can send you into a peaceful sleep, get you to study for that exam that you should have started studying for a couple weeks ago. And it could get you pumped up to work out. The matter is this: your world is filled with music. And it's easy to take for granted something like this, because without the ability to hear clearly, you couldn't enjoy any of the songs that you've grown up to love. But what if I told you that it was still possible to get entertainment from music without having to hear so long? Many artists have gone through this insurmountable struggle and have produced works that both you and me know and love today. Hearing loss is defined by the type, the degree, and which ear it affects. Because of the great deal of factors in life, many people experience their hearing loss differently. Individuals also experience hearing loss at different points in their life. The three types of hearing loss, as discussed in class, are conductive, sensorineural, and mixed. Each type will affect music perception in varying degrees, and many hard of hearing individuals develop ways to circumvent the ability to hear the music. One artist who grew up hearing and eventually became profoundly deaf due to causes heavily debated today was the famous Ludwig van Beethoven. By 1814, he became profoundly deaf, and despite this immense setback, was still able to compose. He was able to continue his works by recollecting what each note sounded like in his head. Beethoven went on to create the most famous Symphony No. 9 as well. Another artist who used her memory of musical notes to create music was jazz singer Mandy Harvey. Throughout her youth, she had ear infections that were adverse to her health. The hearing loss wasn't considered severe, so she just decided to sit in the front of the class. Mandy had a plan to go to Colorado State to pursue her dream of music. But the hearing loss in both of her ears deteriorated. This hearing loss was profound due to the fact that she could only hear sounds over 110 decibels. After a bout of depression, Mandy discovered that she was able to play the piano and remember how to sing the notes. She could also feel the music, sensing the vibrations in the bass and rhythms. Mandy went on to release her debut album, Smile, in 2009. Producer and founding member of the Black Eyed Peas, will.i.am, has had a different experience with hearing. Instead of hearing loss, he's unable to have a moment of silence. will.i.am has tinnitus due to prolonged exposure to loud music. He had experienced this since his early teenage years, and opts to surround himself with loud noise almost constantly, just to make the ringing in his ears easier to ignore. Neil Young, one of the all-time greatest singers and songwriters, also suffers from tinnitus. He has been elected to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, created over 30 albums, and contributed to many more. Many individuals with profound hearing loss enjoy listening to their music through the vibrations that are produced. A research study at the University of Rochester School of Medicine found that when exposed to vibrations, there was brain activity in the part of the brain that picks up vibration, as well as in the auditory cortex. This leads many to believe that deaf individuals can feel music, and that experience is incredibly similar to hearing individuals when hearing music. As one researcher in the study said, all parts of the brain will be used to maximal efficiency. Not one part of the brain isn't used. Beethoven's Nightmare, the first all-deaf band in the world, shows the resiliency of the idea that you can do it if you put your mind to it. Started in 1971, 3 Gallaudet students, Ed Chevy on bass guitar, Bob Hilterman on drums, and Steve Longo on guitar, set out to create their own unique sound. Beethoven's Nightmare utilizes screaming guitars, vocals, and attitude. The one thing that actually separates them from a normal band is that they use ASL, or American Sign Language, on stage. Quite possibly one of the most well-known deaf musicians in the world is Dame Evelyn Glennie. She's been profoundly deaf since the age of 12. Evelyn is a premier professional solo percussionist. She has a Grammy-winning album, 25 solo albums, and over 100 performances each year in venues across the globe. For her contributions to music, she was awarded the title of Dame Commander, which is one of the highest orders of British chivalry. Now, Evelyn doesn't hide her deafness, but she doesn't promote it either. She prefers that people look beyond her condition and believes that it is irrelevant to the equation. After 3 decades of refusing to learn American Sign Language, in 2008, she began learning to sign. She has been quoted saying, "Your life changes and the choices you make change. I have a different view now, and I think that it's good to keep an open mind." One incredibly remarkable instance of a deaf artist paving his own way in life is that of Sean Forbes. At only a year old, Sean caught meningitis and lost hearing in both of his ears. His parents, both great musicians, each in bands, bought him a drum set, and from then on, he was determined to make music his life. Many thought it impossible, but Sean actually became very well known in the music industry, and actually had an opportunity to work with Eminem. Sean helped found DPAN, the Deaf Professional Arts Network. DPAN is a non-profit organization based out of Detroit, made up of artists whose mission it is to make music and music culture accessible to the deaf and hard of hearing community, and to give recognition to deaf and hard of hearing artists everywhere. These people are determined to show everyone that nothing is truly impossible until you tell yourself that it is. Many of these artists are bombarded with criticism and doubt, and against all odds found their place in the music world. DPAN also creates American Sign Language videos of popular songs to allow everybody to enjoy the music. The human mind is extremely adaptable. Where there's a will, there's a way. And when it comes to music, anybody with any sort of hearing loss can find enjoyment regardless of condition.